Hernandez live this morning for us. Thank you, girl. We appreciate the preview out there. The Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo opens on Tuesday. Join us tonight at 7. Keith Garvin and Sophia Ojito will be live at Energy Park for a special 1-hour broadcast to get you ready. Learn how the rotating concert stage is put together, all 1,000 pieces of it. And our Derek Shore is going to sit down with rapper 50 Cent. 50's going to tell Derek why he is now invested in the rodeo tonight at 7 right here on KPRC 2.
All right, very foggy early this morning, and Anthony, we are still talking about the heat and the humidity.
And here's how warm it's been. The last 3 days here in Houston, we have broken record warm temperatures in the mornings. We started out today 71 degrees, Hobby 72, breaking records from 2012. Even College Station for 2 days in a row started out 69 degrees, and the record was 65 from 2012. And so that was a really warm year, and we've just broken that for 3 days in a row. It's still pretty overcast. Andy was mentioning the fog, so we got cloudy skies, 77 degrees, already in the upper 70s. Calm winds, the record high is 88, so we'll be well shy of that, but we are in the 80s this afternoon. In fact, already close to 80 in Katy, in Sugar Land. Galveston a little lower at 72. We do have a southerly flow coming in from the south and a little light, gentle north breeze. This is right where that front is. So the front is stalled here. It's not going to bring any rain, but what it is bringing is a nice, pleasant feel this evening. Check out this forecast for the trail riders. 2 to 4 o'clock, temperatures are in the lower 80s. 6 to 8 o'clock for the barbecue cook-off, lower to mid-70s. What a fantastic day we have ahead with a light south breeze here in Houston, 5 to 10 miles per hour.
All right, Anthony, thank you. One person is dead after deputies say a car burglary led to a shootout near a Channelview Elementary School.
Yeah, classes were postponed at Harvey Brown Elementary for several hours following this investigation. Our Brittany Jeffers joining us live near Rancho Paloma and Wallaceville Road with what we're learning about the victim here. Brittany?
Yes, and the road has since reopened, but that body was found here on Wallaceville Road. Deputies tell us that the victim is a male between the ages of 16 and 20 years old, and they tell us that they believe that he is one of the alleged thieves who was burglarizing vehicles, and they say it was one of those car owners who then started chasing the suspects.
Everything started
at 5 a.m. Julio Hernandez says he was alerted by his neighbor that he and another homeowner's truck had been burglarized in the Rolling Green subdivision near Conover Court.
Windows were smashed, everything inside was open, and my doors were open as well.
Harris County Sheriff's investigators say that one of the car owners witnessed that break-in and started chasing the alleged group of thieves. Deputies say during the chase, the owner was on the phone with the authorities, giving them information. But at some point, both vehicles started firing, though it's unclear who fired first.
It was gunfire exchange from vehicles, and it started in the Sterling Green subdivision, and it continued all the way to Beltway 8 and Sterling Green Drive, and then it continued all the way here.
Major Suarez says that someone inside of the alleged thieves' vehicle suffered a gunshot wound. That car stopped, and the man's body was pushed out into the road near Harvey Brown Elementary School. But the suspects took off.
Multiple suspects that are still looking for. They were believed to be living in a small white four-door sedan vehicle.
Now, deputies tell us that they currently are speaking with a person of interest, but they say ultimately it will be a grand jury who will decide if that person will face any charges. Reporting live, I'm Brittany Jeffers, KPRC 2 News.
Brittany, thank you. Only on 2, a mother is speaking out just days before a former Spring ISD teacher is set to go on trial. Danilo Martinez is accused of inappropriately touching students, sometimes in front of his entire classroom. Back in 2019, now one mother who we are not identifying is pleading for any possible victims to come forward. She says her daughters attended Eikenroe Elementary School back in 2019 when they were in the 3rd grade.
My girls started telling me that it had been happening for a while, that he would take them behind their desk and just start touching them.
The mother says she wants justice for her daughters who still wake up crying at night. She says the prosecutor told her some victims are too afraid to testify. Court records show there are currently 4 active child sex abuse cases against Martinez. Jury selection in his trial is set to begin Monday.
3 people are dead, including a TV news reporter after a series of shootings near Orlando. Spectrum 13, a cable outlet in Florida, has identified 24-year-old Dylan Lyons, pictured here, as the reporter who was shot and killed as he was on scene of that first shooting. Investigators say this all started yesterday morning when a woman in her 20s was shot and killed. The suspect got away. Hours later, Lyons and his photographer were assigned to the story. They were reporting about the shooting when police say they were shot by the same suspect. Lyons, the reporter, was shot and killed. His photojournalist was also shot and was taken to the hospital in critical condition. Deputies say the 19-year-old alleged gunman then went to a nearby home, shot and killed a 9-year-old girl, and also shot her mother, who is now critical.
No one in our community, not a mother, not a 9-year-old, and certainly not news professionals, should become the victim of gun violence in our community.
The Orange County Sheriff's Office identified the suspect as 19-year-old Keith Moses. He was captured in the area and is now charged with murder. Authorities say he has a lengthy criminal history that includes gun charges and aggravated assault. Tomorrow marks 1 year since Russian forces invaded Ukraine. President Joe Biden is back from his trip to Europe, where he reaffirmed his administration's support for Ukraine.
NBC's Bree Jackson reports.
As the U.S. doubles down backing Ukraine, Russia is looking to shore up support from one of its strongest allies. President Biden back at the White House after his surprise trip to Ukraine, just days before the 1-year anniversary of Russia's brutal attacks.
I'm sure Vladimir Putin thought that he would be visiting Ukraine before an American president.
During his trip, the president pledged full support from the U.S., including another $500 million in military aid to help Ukrainian forces.
The focus needs to be on that which is necessary for Ukraine right now, in the immediate. And right now, that focus is air defense.
Meanwhile, Russia is turning to one of its allies for help. Russian President Vladimir Putin met with China's top diplomat Wednesday. Their sit-down follows his announcement that Russia will suspend participation in the last remaining arms control treaty with the U.S., a move President Biden condemned.
Big mistake.
Lawmakers on Capitol Hill also raised concerns that China may provide lethal aid to Russia.
No matter what China gives them, they will never be ready to fight a war like this.
With the war raging on, a few Republican members of Congress argue that the U.S. has given too much aid to Ukraine, but most lawmakers are behind American support.
But I think that the opposition in Congress can be overstated.
As the war enters year 2, calls to end the costly and deadly conflict continue. To mark Friday's 1-year anniversary of the war, the UN General Assembly is expected to vote on a resolution calling on Russia to end the conflict. In Washington, Bree Jackson, back to you.
KPRC 2's Zach Lajwe is traveling to Poland as the region marks 1 year since Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Look for his live report starting tomorrow on KPRC 2 News, KPRC 2 Plus, and click2houston.com. A 3-day winter storm is hitting millions across the country.
Certainly is. Coming up, how some California residents are preparing for the winter blast.
And let's take a live look outside our studios at the Southwest Freeway.
Nice and hazy out there.
Yeah, spring in February.
Right.
How about that? Coming up, meteorologist Anthony Yanez with a look at what we can expect heading into the weekend. An Arizona community is in desperate need of water, but the Colorado River Basin is in crisis. Its reservoirs running dry. The Rio Verde Foothills community lies in the desert and has about 700 homes. It was built thanks to a loophole in the state's water laws that allowed the homes to be built with no guarantee of water. Water was trucked in from Scottsdale, which is next door, but for decades the city had been warning them that the water supply was running low, and at the start of the year, Scottsdale cut them off.
We are most definitely the first domino to fall in this chain reaction from this drought. We won't survive the summer.
A pair of Republican-backed bills that would force Scottsdale to sell water to Rio Verde recently failed to pass. Democrats refused to back them, saying the bills don't fix the underlying problem, building communities without a sustainable water source. The three-day winter storm is hitting millions from California to Maine.
In California, some mountain towns are bracing for what's likely to be an historic winter storm. Nicole Comstock has details.
Into the night, fluffy snow is still piling up on top of cars in Wrightwood. It's been coming down all day, coating the San Gabriel Mountains, where a blizzard warning is in effect for the first time in decades.
Gosh, took out all the features, stripped out everything, and just kind of getting ready for it.
Jonah Haskell works at a local ski resort. He shot this video of near whiteout conditions as he used heavy equipment to clear snow off the paths.
It's been since I was probably, 8 years old, 9 years old.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like back in 2010. It's been a long time since we've had snow like this.
I think it's going to be legit. I think we're going to get a lot of snow.
Tim came to the local market to stock up in case he gets snowed in, and apparently others had the same idea.
Actually, I wanted to top off on some firewood, but that was all sold out. I got some firewood at home, but I just wanted to get a little more just in case the power did go out, have some extra heat.
Crews are on 24-hour shifts. They've done a lot of prep work.
Caltrans District 8 spokesperson Emily Linen says crews are ready to tackle whatever comes their way, and they're urging people to stay off the roads because the next round of heavy snow will once again require chains.
They've looked at the drains. They've done the de-icing agents. They're pouring down the cinders. So, I mean, they're out there in full force.
But if these local mountain towns get up to 7 feet of snow with this Arctic storm, Tim says he's hunkering down inside because his four-wheel drive isn't going to cut it.
If that's the case, yeah, even the power of Subaru ain't going to help me there. So.
They're bracing for it. That was Nicole Comstock reporting.
And I want to show you what's going on with the temperatures.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible, the difference where we are with temperatures in the afternoons in the 80s, setting morning record temperatures, to what they're seeing throughout the rest of the United States. Look at the difference between Billings, Montana to McAllen, Texas. -8 to 84 degrees. Denver's at 0. We're 77 degrees warmer than Denver, Colorado right now. And so here's what's happening. First of all, you look at the winter weather alerts. You had the blizzard warnings, the winter storm warnings in the northern United States, all the way off. We were just talking about Southern California. Wrightwood is right about here, and so you have all of the winter warnings here. And there's even a chance of, because the snow level goes down to 2,500 feet, with a little bit of wind, you could actually get that dusting of snow, making it all the way into Los Angeles. But you have these 3 to 5 foot snow amounts, and here's where Wrightwood is. And again, that's why they're talking about it's so historic, because at this time of year, you usually don't get that much this late in the season. But look how clear it is here in southeast Texas and the southeastern United States. What we have is this big, strong ridge of high pressure. So all the warmth is locked into the southeastern United States. So even farther to the east of us, this is where you're seeing record highs. We don't have the record highs, but we definitely have the warmth, and this is going to stay with us, not just today, but and tomorrow, but all the way through the weekend. We don't have a change in our pattern until we start to track this area of low pressure with this front. So the cold again is off here along the west coast up to the north. Here's some of that snow that's coming down through Saturday early morning. In fact, it's going to be snowing and raining all the way through the weekend. But this is going to start to push off to the east. Now it's a front moving west to east, and those fronts for us really don't cool us off, but maybe a handful of degrees. But what it will do It'll change up the pattern to where this is our next chance to get some soaking rain showers on Monday morning, and then this pushes on through. High pressure comes in behind this, and we get a couple of pleasant days. So for tonight, for the barbecue cook-off, if you're heading out, cloudy skies, but look at this 5 o'clock temperature, warm. 70s for the rest of the evening. It goes to 11 o'clock, a light east-southeasterly wind. What a fantastic start to the barbecue cook-off. Last year it was in the 40s, it was drizzly, and it was also pretty windy. So we've got the 80s all the way through Sunday, morning temperatures in the upper 60s. There's that first front on Monday. But for the start of the rodeo, it looks fantastic. Temperatures in the upper 70s. We start to warm up Wednesday and Thursday. And another front comes in, it looks like Friday morning again. And this will lower temperatures also into the 70s.
Okay, get ready.
Get
Hope you
ready.
like the warmer temperatures.
Yes, I do.
Thank you, Anthony. Rodeo Houston expecting millions of guests this year. Ahead at noon, investigative reporter Mario Diaz has a look at their safety plan.
Well, it's still ahead on KPRC 2 News Midday. American Idol's Adam Lambert has a new album coming out, and he's performing the music of two legends.
As we head to break, I want to hear what's coming up with Adam Lambert. We take a look at the markets. We'll be right back after this. American Idol singer Adam Lambert has a new album out where he performs the music of Duran Duran and Bonnie Tyler.
Two of the best.
Two of the best.
Rick Damigella reports.
Came in from a rainy Thursday on the avenue.
That's Adam Lambert performing Duran Duran's Ordinary World.
I turned on the lights, the TV, and the radio.
I wanted to do it in a way that was sort of haunting and a little darker and made you listen to the lyrics really carefully.
The song is from his first covers album, High Drama.
But I won't cry for yesterday. There's an ordinary world. Somehow I have to find.
With this album in general, I don't think I was even conscious of it, but I I find that there's some references sonically to stuff I've done in the past. So it kind of, hopefully for fans, they're like, oh, I love this vibe because he's done this with this song.
Lambert also covers Culture Club, Billie Eilish, Kings of Leon, and Bonnie Tyler on the album.
It's always been sort of a guilty pleasure song for me. And when we decided to put this on the album, at first we tried to do a different direction with it, and it just didn't feel right. And we were like kind of scratching our heads going, what do we do? And we finally kind of cracked the code, and we thought, let's do like a glam rock shuffle, kind of classic early 70s, and it just clicked.
In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
We all remember that song in the Footloose soundtrack, okay? Yes.
1984.
That's it. The single winner of January's $1.35 billion Mega Million jackpot has claimed their winnings. They chose to take the lump sum, which amounts to more than $724 million in cash before taxes. The store where the ticket was sold gets a $50,000 bonus. There in Maine.
All right.
50
grand, huh?
It seems a little bit.
Does seem
a little bit cheap, right?
I don't know.
I think the store should get a bigger cut.
I feel like they usually get $1 million.
Something like that, right?
I don't know. Anyway, I want to show you what we're tracking and what we're watching for you. We've got more warm weather in the afternoons. Great cook-off tonight. We're watching perfect for the parade coming up on Saturday morning and also the run. And then Monday's when our next cold front comes in. But look at what it does to our temperatures. Nothing too drastic. We go from the lower to mid 80s into just the mid to upper 70s Monday and Tuesday before we're back in the 80s again on Wednesday.
I know.
Okay.
We don't want to jinx it and say winter's not done with us yet.
Right.
So we won't say it.
Yeah. We should just sing more Duran Duran and Bonnie Tyler.
Yes.
I'm holding out for a heat.
Oh, I can't even do it. Oh, these poor people.
Sorry,
There's dogs howling everywhere right now. That's it for us here at Midday. Entertainment Tonight is next on TV.
Yes, and more local news stories are streaming for you right now on the KPRC 2 Plus live stream. You can watch by downloading the free KPRC 2 Plus app. Smart TV, streaming device, your mobile phone, all of it. Just search KPRC 2 Plus, and we'll see you back here at noon.
Live on KPRC TV and the KPRC 2 Plus live stream. The news starts now.
Tragedy in Orlando. A news reporter shot and killed while reporting. A 9-year-old child also killed at that same location. Families, colleagues all in mourning as investigators reveal new details about the suspected shooter.
Here in Houston, an attempted car burglary leads to a shootout near an elementary school. A body found in the street hours before classes begin. Coming up, what we know about the suspects.
Spring temperatures are here to stay. Meteorologist Cambrell Marshall is with us here at noon. He'll take a look at the warm and muggy forecast. But we do begin here on this Thursday afternoon with that deadly shooting in Channelview. I'm Lisa Fernandez.
And I'm Bill Barajas, filling in for Andy Sirota. One person is dead after deputies say a car burglary led to a shootout near a Channelview elementary school.
Classes were postponed at Harvey Brown Elementary for several hours as detectives worked to gather evidence. KPRC 2's Brittany Jeffers is tracking the latest, including the search for suspects.
And that body was found here on Wallaceville Road. They say the victim is a male between the ages of 16 and 20 years old, and detectives believe that he was one of the alleged suspects burglarizing vehicles in the area. They say one of the homeowners started chasing them.
Everything started
At 5 a.m., Julio Hernandez says he was alerted by his neighbor that he and another homeowner's truck had been burglarized in the Rolling Green subdivision near Conover Court.
Windows were smashed, everything inside was open, and my doors were open as well.
Harris County Sheriff's investigators say that one of the car owners witnessed that break-in and started chasing the alleged group of thieves. Deputies say during the chase, the owner was on the phone with the authorities, giving them information. But at some point, both vehicles started firing, though it's unclear who fired first.
It was gunfire exchange from vehicles, and it started in the Sterling Green subdivision, and it continued all the way to Beltway 8 and Sterling Green Drive, and then it continued all the way here.
Major Suarez says that someone inside of the alleged thieves' vehicle suffered a gunshot wound. That car stopped, and the man's body was pushed out into the road near Harvey Brown Elementary School. But the suspects took off.
Multiple suspects that are still looking for. They were believed to be living in a small white four-door sedan vehicle.
Deputies say they currently have a person of interest in this case, and a grand jury will ultimately decide if they will face any charges. I'm Brittany Jeffers, KPRC 2 News.
Orlando's television news community is in mourning today after a local reporter was shot and killed while covering a crime scene just outside the city. Spectrum 13, a cable news station in Florida, has identified Dylan Lyons as that reporter who was killed while covering a shooting that happened earlier Wednesday. Lyons was 24. His photographer was critically wounded. Investigators say this all started yesterday morning when a woman in her 20s was shot and killed. That suspect got away. Hours later, Lyons and his photographer were on that scene of that shooting working on their story when police say they were ambushed and shot by that same suspect. Deputies say the 19-year-old suspect then went to a nearby home, shot and killed a 9-year-old girl, and also shot her mother, who remains in critical condition.
No one in our community, not a mother, not a 9-year-old, and certainly not news professionals, should become the victim of gun violence in our community.
The Orange County Sheriff's Office identified the suspect as 19-year-old Keith Moses. You see him there. He was captured in the area and is now charged with murder. The motive is still unknown.
Only on 2, a mother is pleading for other victims to come forward just days before a former Spring ISD teacher set to go on trial accused of molesting her daughters. Danilo Martinez is accused of inappropriately touching students, sometimes in front of his entire classroom. Now, one mother, who we are not identifying, is hoping other potential victims will speak out. She says her daughters attended Eikenroll Elementary back in 2019 when they were in the 3rd grade.
My girls started telling me that it had been happening for a while, that he would take them behind their desk and just start touching them.
That mother says she wants justice for her daughters, who she says still wake up crying at night. She says the prosecutor told her some victims are afraid to testify. Court records show there are currently 4 active child sex abuse cases against Martinez. Jury selection in his trial is set to begin on Monday.
A Northwest Houston exotic animal shop owner says he's being overwhelmed with pets being dumped, and he has a warning for anyone who's thinking about buying an exotic pet of their own. The owner says chain stores aren't telling buyers what they're really getting into.
People will get a snake this big
The next thing you know, it's 8 feet. They have no idea if it's going to keep growing, where it stops, so they just throw it outside.
His advice, don't buy an exotic animal online based off an internet photo. A local breeder is always best. And if you decide you can't manage the care of an exotic animal, find a professional to help instead of just dumping it. And it's been a foggy morning so far and a bit muggy.
Yes, indeed. KPRC 2 meteorologist Ken Brown-Marshall joining us now with how we're looking at it. It is kind of hazy out there.
It's still kind of hazy, foggy, depending on where you are. So it's not one of those crystal clear kind of days. We still continue to be in this really unseasonably warm pattern. That's been the case. We are still there right now. 80s again this afternoon. Stubborn fog, especially along the coast. So be advised that that's the case. This seawall here, and it looks kind of hazy out there. If we get to a camera that's up higher up, you can barely see anything. So it's about 2.5 miles visibility down there in Galveston right now. Some of the other areas, not really much of a problem. Temperatures, though, look at this. 74 in Galveston, already 80 degrees in Houston, 81 in Sugar Land, so much warmer than the normal high, which is like 69 degrees. Winds from the south, you can look at this. You can see where the winds are coming together. There's a little front that's kind of stalling out there. It's not like a big front, but you can definitely see that. And you can see that on the radar as well. Exact track radar showing the clouds here. And you can see the dividing line between the front that's kind of hanging out here right around there. So cooler air is to the north. Not a lot cooler, but still cooler. 80 degrees for us in Houston, 49 in Dallas. So there's some colder air trying to make its way down. The question is how much of that will make it down? Not a lot for the next weekend here. Even though you see the wind moving in this direction, this is going to help stall it out a little bit, and it's going to keep a lot of that coldest air away. So this afternoon, trail ride forecast for you, still going to be in the 80s, 82, 76 by the time we get to 6 o'clock. Yeah, it gets a little cooler overnight, but not that much cooler. In fact, we're in record territory for our lows. We'll talk more about that just ahead.
It's one of the best times of the year in Houston. Of course, we're talking about the rodeo.
The festivities start today with the World Championship Barbecue Contest at NRG Park. Our rodeo expert, Kathy Hernandez, brings us more.
Good afternoon. Talk about fabulous. Take a look right behind me. You don't even feel like you're still at the cook-off. They call it Champagne Cowboy. This is the Cotton Club. They are the title sponsors of the entire rodeo cook-off. Everyone is hard at work. The cookers here say they look forward to this weekend all year round.
The competition's fun and, you know, live music, good times, good people. I mean, what's not to love?
At the Rodeo Houston Cook-Off, well, it's about more than just the barbecue. Over at 300 Justice Road Cookers, they're starting early with ribs, sausage, and even a whole hog on the grill.
It's the biggest event that goes on in Houston, and it's just so special. There's so much camaraderie around here.
On Saturday, they even have an extra special day to honor their longtime friend, Navy SEAL Commander Brian Bourgeois. He died last year after a training accident.
And we try to bring together all the things he loved about life and remember him.
Down the road, it's an experience like no other at the Cotton Club, this year's title sponsor.
This is our definition of bringing Caviar Cowboy to Texas. You can be a cowboy and still have that elevated experience with our red roses, with the derby vibe, with the chandeliers and the drapes.
500 people a night will pack the Cotton Club for food, drinks, and music.
Welcome to the Gold Pony.
In the back is an extra fabulous area, a VIP lounge they call the Golden Pony.
That's where you can just hang out, kick your boots off, and just have a different laid-back experience.
Fabulous inside and delicious out here. Chef Wade, what are you cooking up for us?
So today we have a little bit of RC Ranch Wagyu beef that we're searing up right now, and some maitre d' butter and a little tallow. Have some Gulf shrimp with some Casa del Sol tequila.
Woohoo!
Then over here, I got Mr. Whitehead, Scott Whitehead over here. He's got us some little lunch for the guys going. He's going to show you how nice and tender this pork butt is. Slow and low is the name of the game.
Oh my goodness. How long did it take to cook that?
How long did you put it on there? Because I was sleeping at that time. 9 hours. 9 hours. Okay.
9 hours.
So he's going to take the bone out. You see how tender it is? And then you just don't even need a knife. You just chop, chop, chop like that, and then all the natural juices. That's what it's all about.
What does it take to make something like that?
What does it take? Love and time.
love, and time. That is what we're hearing a lot around here. These cookers put a lot of love into their food. Again, very first day of the rodeo cook-off. Tell me, what do you look forward to the most?
It's just feeding the crowd. Everybody, coming in, is go to everybody's tents and just seeing all the, I don't know, it's amazing when you're here. It's so electrifying. I just love to be here and see all the people and the food and just everybody's different creativity. So.
Such a special atmosphere. The best time of the year right here in Houston is right now. Happy rodeo, guys. Back to you.
All right. Cotton Club.
Yes.
Writing that down. Need to get to the Cotton Club.
That's it. Thank you, Miss Kathy Hernandez, for that.